Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. It's funny how an NFL season can flip a team's expectations on its head. Back in August, when the Washington Commanders were sweating through training camp, and fans were debating depth charts and rookie standouts, nobody could have imagined this team limping into its bye week with a 3-8 record. Nobody saw a season tumbling downhill before the calendar even hit December, yet here we are, staring into the reflective pool of a season that unraveled far quicker than anyone in Washington wanted to admit. And when Dan Quinn finally stepped up to the mic to talk about the bye week, he said exactly what every exhausted Commanders fan was already thinking but maybe didn't want to say out loud. This break couldn't have come soon enough. You could hear the fatigue in Quinn's voice, but you could also hear the resolve. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't pretend that the record was misleading or that a couple bounces of the ball were the only difference between Washington and the teams clawing their way toward playoff contention. Quinn looked at the camera and admitted that his squad was drained physically, mentally, and emotionally, and you know what? He wasn't wrong. The Commanders haven't just been losing games, they've been losing players, losing momentum, and losing that inner spark that carried them through last year's push. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And even the toughest teams reach a moment where the tank hits empty. Quinn's message to the locker room, though, wasn't doom and gloom. It wasn't woe is us or throw in the towel. Instead, he delivered the kind of message a seasoned coach gives when the mountain they've been climbing suddenly turns into a cliff face. Focus on what's next. Forget the standings. Forget the missed opportunities. Forget whatever predictions or hype swirled through the off-season. He told his players to come back regenerated, energized, and ready to compete again, not for the postseason, but for pride, development, and a chance to prove something to themselves and the front office. But while the bye week might be a welcome reset for the coaching staff and players, it's the fans who arguably needed this pause the most. Commanders fans rolled into September with high expectations, new energy, and a belief that this roster reshaped by Adam Peters and led by a seasoned defensive mind in Quinn was moving forward, not backward, yet the season has drained them of that spark. You can hear it in the tone of fan calls on local radio. You can see it in the comment sections. Most have already shifted into off-season mode, mentally fast-forwarding to draft talk, free agency speculation, and long-term roster improvement. They're exhausted from watching a team that simply hasn't clicked, whether because of injuries, scheme issues, or young players not rising to the occasion. And that leads us to the elephant in the room, the one that's been lumbering around Washington's defense all season long, the secondary. Washington has tried many different approaches over the years to build a dominant unit. They tried the star-studded defensive line approach a few seasons back for first-rounders. With sky-high expectations, that experiment ended up more frustrating than fruitful under Peters. The new philosophy has shifted to the defensive backfield, but at a discount, focusing on second-round talent instead of splurging premium picks. Quan Martin, Mike Sandersteele, and Trey Amos were supposed to be the new nucleus of a fast, modern, ball-hawking secondary. They were young, they were athletic, they were handpicked for this new era. And at times, each of them has flashed the exact qualities the Commanders hoped for. But this season, those flashes have been rare, overshadowed by miscommunications, missed tackles, and an overall regression that's raising serious eyebrows inside the building. And look, to be fair, the injuries on defense haven't helped. Losing Will Harris early hurt more than anyone realized at the time. Marshon Lattimore once again sidelined with another heartbreaking ACL injury may never take the field for Washington again. Those were supposed to be the veteran stabilizers who would help shepherd the young DBS through the year. Their absence left the kids exposed, and as for the pass rush, it has been a problem. Since week one, fans begged Peters to bolster the edges after Fowler left, and those concerns aged like milk once Dorrance Armstrong Jr. went down. Whatever pass rush threat remained evaporated. It's hard for DBS to thrive when quarterbacks have all day to throw, and that's exactly what's been happening. Still, even with all those caveats, there's no way to avoid the hard truth. Martin, Sandersteele, and Amos have not performed to expectations. Their grades across the board are near the bottom of the league. The raw numbers tell the same story. Too many completions allowed, too many explosive plays surrendered, and way too many missed tackles. These aren't just struggles, they're red flags. That will force Peters and Quinn to take a painfully honest look at what this trio really is. Are these guys suffering through an off year because of injuries around them? Or did Washington simply miss on these investments? That question matters because the Commanders don't have a hidden treasure chest of young defensive backs waiting in the wings. The developmental players on the roster have promise, but none are viewed as potential stars. The plan, at least the one drawn up on the whiteboard, was to build around these 3 second-rounders. And if that plan doesn't work, Washington risks losing precious years of roster-building momentum. The worst part is that fans have seen this movie before. They watched Rivera try to address the secondary with St. Just and Forbes, only to see those picks ultimately cast aside as Peters reshaped the roster. They watched the team go years without investing in premium secondary talent. They watched as the front office finally tried to reverse that trend, and now they're watching with increasing unease as the results look unsettlingly familiar. And yet, even with all these issues swirling, Dan Quinn refuses to shift his gaze to next year. That's the difference between him and the fan base right now. Quinn is built from that old-school coaching cloth. If there are games left, there is work left. 6 games remain, and while none of them will be easy, each one offers the coaching staff a clearer picture of who belongs in Washington's future and who might be auditioning for another NFL home come spring. That's the real importance of this bye week. It's not just a break, it's a recalibration. It's the moment where the season stops feeling like a runaway train and starts becoming an opportunity for evaluation, growth, and maybe even redemption. Sometimes stepping away from the storm is exactly what you need to learn how to walk back into it. And for the Commanders, that storm resumes under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. A game that, on paper, shouldn't carry much weight, but in reality, will help determine exactly what this team is made of when the chips are down. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. In what has already started sending shockwaves across the NFL universe, Jayden Daniels, the quarterback who has become the heartbeat of the Commanders' offense, has reportedly made an announcement that has left fans both worried and deeply moved. Sources close to the team suggest that Daniels' decision could signal the end of an era in Washington, a move that no one saw coming despite the whispers and speculation that have been simmering behind closed doors. The news broke like a lightning bolt in a clear sky, and social media exploded with reactions ranging from disbelief to heartfelt tributes, as fans tried to process the idea that one of their most electrifying young stars might no longer be wearing the burgundy and gold. For months, insiders have been hinting at tension behind the scenes, subtle shifts in locker room dynamics, and rumors about Daniels' future, but until now, nothing concrete had emerged. His performance on the field has consistently been impressive, showing flashes of brilliance that suggest a player destined for greatness. Yet, according to sources, the decision to step away or at least explore opportunities beyond the Commanders is not rooted in a lack of talent or ambition, but rather in a complex mixture of personal considerations, team dynamics, and the intense pressures that come with being the face of a franchise. Fans are understandably conflicted. There's admiration for Daniels' courage in making a difficult choice, but also genuine anxiety about what his departure could mean for the team's future. The timing of this announcement adds another layer to the story. While the NFL world is accustomed to trade rumors and free agent speculation, this feels different. This isn't just the chatter of agents and executives, it's a direct message from the player himself, a candid expression of his personal journey and the path he envisions for the next chapter of his career. In interviews following the announcement, Daniels was reportedly emotional, acknowledging the bond he has with his teammates, the staff, and especially the fans, who have supported him through highs and lows alike. There is a sense of melancholy in the air, a bittersweet recognition that while professional sports are often about performance and stats, at the end of the day, these are people with dreams, fears, and hearts invested in something bigger than themselves. Analysts are already dissecting the implications of Daniels' decision. Some speculate that this move could trigger a ripple effect, not only for the Commanders but across the league, as teams begin to evaluate their quarterback situations and the value of a player of Daniels' caliber. Others are more introspective, considering what this means for the culture of the sport, the pressures placed on young athletes, and the human side of decisions that can so profoundly impact careers. One thing is clear: Daniels' announcement is not merely transactional news. It's a narrative moment, a story that fans will tell for years about loyalty, courage, and the complexities of chasing both personal and professional fulfillment. In the midst of all this speculation, the reaction from the fanbase has been a mix of outrage, heartbreak, and unwavering support. Social media platforms are flooded with hashtags, fan art, and passionate threads debating whether the Commanders could have done more to keep him, or if this was always inevitable. There's even a sense of collective mourning, a recognition that something special is ending, even if it's unclear what comes next. Supporters are digging into past games, reliving signature moments, and sharing stories of how Daniels' presence on the team has inspired them, proving just how deeply one athlete can resonate with a community. It's rare for a single announcement to spark such widespread emotion. But Daniels has never been a typical quarterback, and this is far from a typical situation. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that discussions with the team's front office were extensive, but ultimately inconclusive. Negotiations, heartfelt conversations, and attempts to find a compromise reportedly took place. But Daniels' resolve seems firm. He has expressed a desire to prioritize certain personal goals and to explore avenues that might not align with the immediate trajectory of the Commanders. This is, in many ways, a reflection of modern professional sports, where athletes are increasingly vocal about their autonomy, mental health, and long-term aspiration. The announcement underscores a growing recognition that success isn't just measured in wins and losses, but in the alignment of one's career with one's values and life goals. Rumors are now swirling about potential destinations, possible trade discussions, and even the idea that Daniels might step back for a period to recalibrate before making his next move. Speculation is rampant, fueled by the uncertainty surrounding his contract, the team's offensive strategy, and the timing of his decision relative to league dynamics. Analysts and fans alike are engaging in what-if scenarios, debating whether his departure could lead to a major reshuffle in the quarterback landscape, or if the Commanders might pivot to a new direction entirely. The intrigue is palpable, as everyone waits for the next official statement or hint from Daniels or the organization. What makes this situation especially compelling is the human story behind it. Jayden Daniels is more than just a quarterback. He's a symbol of resilience, talent, and authenticity. His journey from college standout to NFL contender has been closely followed, celebrated, and at times scrutinized. The announcement of his potential exit from the Commanders is therefore more than a transactional sports story. It's a narrative that resonates on a personal level with fans who have invested in his growth, cheered for his successes, and rooted for him through adversity. The emotional weight of this revelation is amplified by the fact that Daniels took the step to communicate directly, rather than allowing speculation to spiral unchecked. It's a move that commands respect, even as it fuels uncertainty and anticipation, as the NFL community digests this shocking news. One thing is certain: Jayden Daniels has left an indelible mark on the Commanders and their fans. Whether he stays, leaves, or takes a momentary pause, his influence on the team's culture, strategy, and identity is undeniable. The announcement has sparked endless conversation, debate, and analysis, and the story is far from over. Fans are bracing for the next chapter, eager to support Daniels no matter where his path leads, while also reckoning with the reality that the Commanders may soon face a new era without one of their brightest stars at the helm. In the meantime, the league watches, the rumor mill churns, and the emotional resonance of Daniels' decision continues to ripple through stadiums, screens, and hearts alike. A reminder that in sports, as in life, the most powerful stories are often the ones that touch us on a deeply human level. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.